Cubby blue blood flowing through our veins. Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Lucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Lucho Scali.
Son Ranto! Yeah, baby. I didn't have a long one, but I had a loud one.
Yeah, Lyle, sometimes you get a little roll like in the back of your throat.
Yeah.
And like when you get that going, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like 30 seconds.
That's years of phlegm from all the bong hits he's taken.
That is. There's times when that roll starts happening, and I think I think I'm gonna choke to death on my throat or something because it gets out of control. I'm like, oh god, the vibrations are winning.
I just imagine a little face on your uvula going.
There is. You drew it. We were drunk that night. We had a tattoo gun. We didn't know what to do. And I woke up and your hands are in my mouth. And I was like, what are you doing? You're like, don't worry about it.
He's going to be so surprised when he wakes up in the morning and I've tattooed his uvula.
Exactly.
Well, welcome to the Son Ranto Show. Happy Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome to church. This is church. So thanks to our Patreon supporters who make this show happen. You can become one at patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch. There's well over 100 of you. You are the super ranters. But especially, I want to thank Blake Beard, who not only is he one of our super duper ranters, but he also brought me to the game yesterday.
Wait, Blackbeard brought you to the game? Did Cubstradamus bring him back?
Yes, he did.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Blackbeard singing in the dead of night.
Arr.
Arr. So, anyway.
Should we do the whole show as pirates?
Hey, matey, we shall.
See how long people stay?
Yeah, we shall board the SS Cubs at dawn. And talk about the mateys that are on a 5-day plank walking streak.
Oh, they get the yeah.
We can't even keep it up. I don't even want to do 2 minutes.
I'm not even awake yet.
Yeah, Rogue Wave Creative, please no.
Yeah, well, it's funny that Rogue Wave Creative is in the chat because he's one of the other super duper ranters. Actually, he's the only other super duper ranter. Oh. But thank you for all your support for at any level that you support at. But please come on and join us because there's content just like flying out just for Patreon people, i.e. Cubs Pod, which it went out today. This is Michael Cotton's second podcast of the day. This guy's an animal. He's on fire.
I've done 3.
and when I'm done today, I'm gonna try and get my radio show out for broadcast tonight. So I got some recording.
You got a rabbit hole that went out this week. You know, that's ad free on the Patreon feed. So anyway, you should become one. It's really the only way we're keeping the lights on.
Yeah, the rabbit hole is only out on Patreon right now. Like I dropped that a little while before because when I'm done, I don't want to add all the commercials and all that crap to put it out on the regular feed. So you're gonna have to sit and wait for that if you're not on Patreon. Exactly. And if you are on Patreon, you get 2 versions, one without crowd noise in case you've got tinnitus like Danny.
Exactly. If you wonder why there's 2 shows of the same show on the feed, is one doesn't have the crowd noise because I yelled at Michael because it was triggering my tinnitus. I was like, that crowd noise is just at the wrong frequency. It's fucking with my brain.
I can't listen to it.
I couldn't, it's just, but anyway, I'm going to try to get my shit together and get with the crowd noise. And you even sent me something like a wrist thing that I could wear. I was like, what the hell is this? It's for deaf people. And I was like, well, I'm going to need this eventually, but it's interesting because it's like, if you're deaf and like your door opens, it like tells your wrist.
Right.
That's what the main thing, but it's also helping tinnitus patients, apparently.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. I'm still looking for that podcast, but apparently, like, it tells you when there's sounds, and the tinnitus is just your brain thinking there's sound when there's no sound.
Oh yeah, I think lots of things in my brain that don't exist. So, like, that is just really par for the course. Chris Salato is here thinking #chance. So is Dominic Galoro thinking #chance. Carrie Meyer here thinking #chance. Bernie Barron here thinking #chance. Captain Cubbo, Roberto Ramos #chancing. So please #chance.
And you started out with Salato there. Shout out to Artie Boucher, who ordered 2 pair of Salato socks this week. So I got to get those out.
Oh, wow. You only have, 1,000 pairs left to move?
1,000.
20,000 pairs. Order now. 7
pairs. It was
7 for 1 pricing going on, Hold on. Timu,
cover your whole week.
So, Alex is here, Rogue Wave Creative, Josh D. It was great to see a bunch of you guys at the Bleacher Bum Band show on opening day at Output. We had a blast. We really had a fun seeing so many of you guys. I think the band did pretty well. I only screwed up lyrics a little bit. And that's tough for an old man to remember all the words he wrote way back in the day.
You don't remember what house you live in right now?
I don't, because there's information there. I got to move. Look behind me. I got nothing. I got no things.
You should see the rest of the house. It's crazy.
All you've got back there is the personification of your brain on the wall, just your face crying.
I know. This is what this is how I feel emotionally, pretty much, for the last good 8 months.
If you've ever been curious about Dan's ego, just know that every other thing in that room has been taken off the walls except for the paint.
Well,
I just wanted to point it out.
They need to see both of my faces. But no, I'm realizing as I live around all these boxes that I don't need any of this shit, because it's all been in a box for weeks. And I haven't looked for a thing, man. Like, where's that thing that I need that I always use? And it's not, I don't need it, apparently.
It's funny. You can get rid of a lot of stuff as you're packing and getting ready to leave, but it's that second unpacking when you go, you're like, why did I fucking move this? So hopefully you have it in your head as you're unpacking. You're not just like, just stick this over there, just stick this over there. Be like, do I fucking need this? So, somebody, there was that lady during maybe COVID about, cleaning your house and like, does it bring you joy? Does it bring you joy? And I think one of the things that kind of went around is like, if it's less than $20 and you can replace it in something you don't use very much, or you don't need, like, maybe get rid of it. You get a new one if you need it, which seems wasteful, but there's that. But someone told me the other day, they're like, no, dude, if there was poop on it, would you wash it off and keep it? Or would you just throw it away? I was like, that's actually a good way to think about it. If there was poop on this thing would be going in the garbage. So beat it. Get out of my house.
Yeah. I love it. It's, I don't know, a couple months ago, my wife went out for the night. Her and one of the kids, I think they went to Chicago. No, they went to Madison. And I was home alone in the house, and I'm looking at this like canister that just has all these like ladles and spoons and shit. And I threw 3/4 of it away.
Good.
She has never noticed.
Oh, good. I was going to say,
tell her.
I thought you were going to say she's never going to forgive me because she's been looking for the same stupid black plastic spoon for the last fucking 2 weeks, and I don't have the heart to tell her that I threw it away.
This was my grandpa's spoon, and you just chucked it.
Yep. She hasn't mentioned it one time, and I'm still just waiting.
Well, as soon as she hears this show, which I know she diligently listens to, because she just can't get more of her husband, let me tell you. She just can't wait to hear more of your lips moving. Right. Well, I want to thank our sponsors, which is Matt Kammerer's Permanent Paintings, and you should check out his Etsy store because he made an incredible Bleacher Bum Band opening day poster. You can find it at Permanent Paintings Etsy store. It's everybody loves this thing. The only place you can get this poster is on Matt Kammerer's Permanent Paintings Etsy store. It's only $20 plus shipping, which is a steal for an 11x17 piece of well-printed artwork. So go ahead and buy that because, Matt Kammerer does a lot for us, and this is It's one way he can get basically $5 off of you. So that'd be, and buy something else while you're there.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
And who else? Oh, yeah, In the Clutch shirts. We want to thank them for sponsoring our Patreon prize of the month, which happened last week, I believe, on the Bleacher Bunch. Anyway, thanks for you can only win that if you are a Patreon member. So patreon.com/sunranto. But let's get into this freaking amazing baseball team that we've had the privilege to watch.
What a heater.
5 games straight. Should be actually more than that. It should be 7 games straight if they didn't blow that one game. I'm not going to let them forget it either.
No,
they
you're
blew
not.
that game right after we had our show last week. They blew the game in Arizona, and they would have won now 7 straight instead of 5 straight. We should be going for our 8th in a row instead of we're going for our 6th, but that's okay. We'll just take what we have now because we got no choice.
And I'm even more mad about those 2 games in the preseason that counted. Now,
yeah,
they weren't ready. They needed those extra days.
Dodgers were ready.
Spring training is not long enough, people.
The other thing that drove me nuts is I'm doing the Cubs pod, and I'm like, yeah, yesterday was the home opener, but it was also the 3rd home game of the year, which just sucks. Like, why are you doing that to us?
Yeah, it's stupid.
It was a little difficult getting out of the chute, let's talk about the negative first, I guess, because, even though
there's a lot of positive today. Let's start out bad.
All right. The positive. The defense has been great. The pitching's been pretty good, although we did almost see a bullpen meltdown, which was the negative I was going to start with.
Right.
And then, we had the one blown save. That was the bullpen issue. So, and then we saw Presley not be. But the defense has been great. They've been hitting the ball. They've been scoring a lot of runs. They've been running the bases really, really well. And the whole outfield deserves a Gold Glove. Like, it's been really nice to watch this team. They look a lot tighter. They look that idea that a big slugger in the middle of your lineup, like a Kyle Tucker, is going to elongate it to the point where the other guys can get some protection and do even better. That is happening. Like, all the things that we kind of wished for are kind of coming true with Kyle Tucker's bat. And
the promise of Kyle Tucker feels real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We were yelling. I mean, we saw him go into his car yesterday after the game because they got to walk through the plebeian public on their way to their cars. And as he came out, people started commoners. The commoners started chanting MVP at him, and I was like, could happen.
Yeah, could happen.
Yeah, it was. I'm like, it's not unfounded.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, he won't actually. Like, he can do it all on the plate because he doesn't actually have to cover that much of right field because PCA is just all over the place. Like, right. And I'm really digging.
Well, PCA's got to check all fields in case someone dropped a crack rock. He needs, you know what I mean? or there's a bag of meth.
Absolutely, somebody did out of the bleachers.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was. I think it was that crack goose. There's a goose on crack living in the bleachers of Wrigley Field.
No, but
I made up the crack part, but the goose part is real. Did you hear about this? I'm calling him Goose Gossage because it's obvious. Bleacher Jeff tweeted this out yesterday. He said there's a section of the center field bleachers blocked off because a goose has made a next. I think he meant nest. #content in the planter boxes below the scoreboard. So, as in the
what a silly goose.
The top area of the center field bleachers kind of has this kind of incline. It's very steep up there, but a goose has gone up there and made a next. Nest.
A Canadian goose.
Oh, so there's tariffs on this goose?
There might be. I'm just saying. He's an illegal.
Well, that's exactly why they made everybody. They couldn't actually sit next to him.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. The Ricketts are like, ooh, tariffs. We got to keep everyone away from that goose.
Do you think Tom called ice on it already?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to, at some point, I think the Ricketts and their mega ways are going to turn the center field bleachers into an ice detention center, I think is what it'll end up being. And that goose will just go around attacking people like a dog.
I mean, Danny, if you get rounded up and finished off, but it ends up being in Wrigley, is it not as bad? You know what I mean?
I think it was Augusto Pinochet that did that one time in Chile. He brought everybody down to the soccer stadium and just started
People
executing.
were like, if I'm gonna die, might as well be here. my blood will forever keep our team winning in the future.
Exactly. Those would be my last words at the firing squad. Go Cubs!
Ask everybody at the Superdome during the hurricane how that worked out for them.
Yeah, no, oh, come on. Well, now that FEMA has been canceled, that'll never happen again.
Yeah. No, I love Jeff Rogowskis in the Discord said it's Goose Island 312 up there.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I like calling him Goose Gossage, although I was surprised when I brought that up how few people knew who Goose Gossage was. And now that makes me feel old, first of all, because he hasn't pitched for a long time, but he was a Cub and he was like, oh, some random Cub. I'm like, no, this was like the most famous closer of his time that came a Cub at the end of his career and actually did pretty decently. But apparently he's gone
Dennis
full-blown.
Eckersley, like there were a few guys that were the guys.
And the Goose was one of them.
Yeah.
And he was big guy with an imposing like handlebar mustache.
His mustache is everything. You got to look him up if you don't know who he is. He's a beautiful man.
Well, apparently Corey Furlong, one of our beloved ranters, told me that he collects a lot of autographs and baseball cards and things like that. He said that Goose Gossage goes to these card shows and he writes like mega messages on all his autographs. So he's like for like the last 4 years, he's been writing like Trump won Goose Gossage on his like 1987 baseball card. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What a piece of shit.
Even if it was like Obama won or like I don't want that shit on my baseball card. Sign the fucking card. Like, shut up.
Yeah, right. Well, these guys
don't write what I tell you to write, monkey.
Yeah.
Don't you Goose. Fucking get out of the thing. You do what I say.
You silly goose. You do what I say.
I don't know how he got the name Goose. That's, I mean, there's a nickname that some people get. And how do you get it?
There's a lot of bruised fannies in the 70s that would tell you how.
I was going to say he was known for the thumbs up in the clubhouse.
the old 5-finger brown. Well, anyway,
isn't that the minivan? 2 in the front, 5 in the back.
Sounds like a conversion van, maybe, but I think those are illegal now too. But I'm
just trying to get canceled today.
I know.
The Cubs sweep the A's. I know that with your Bill Murray racist freaking shirt.
I don't know. I love this shirt. It's just God damn it, Danny. I've never thought that. I wear it all the time.
Well, and you're up there in Maine around a bunch of crackers. Like they don't really they act all woke, but they ain't.
Yeah, but there's a huge native population up here too. I've never even considered that.
That is Bill Murray wearing a headdress.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't because I just think of the Blackhawks. I don't think I would it's just yeah. What a loser.
So, speaking of losers, have you seen that? Well, of course you saw because you watched the games. But the A's new stadium. I mean,
Sacramento, yo,
no.
From the Bay Area and back down.
Wrong. West Sacramento.
Even better, dude.
West Sacramento. That was the thing that really surprised me was, first off, they're not called the Sacramento A's. They're just the Athletics.
The A's, yeah.
No town to it. And then on the broadcast, I'm listening and they kept saying West Sacramento. And I'm like, what is this? Are they just saying that they're in the west part of Sacramento? What is this? But there's a river there, and there's Sacramento, River. And then there's West Sacramento. And apparently somebody's kind of pissy about it because the first game they said West Sacramento. Second game, they just went to Sacramento. Third game, West Sacramento was back in the broadcaster's mouth.
All right.
Well, the broadcast that you could hear because the freaking audio dropped out of game one, for most of the game. The only audio that was actually going of the game that was the Cubs feed was the Miguel. So I ended up having the game on my computer and I was listening in Spanish because he was the only one calling play-by-play because the whole freaking feed went down. So They don't have their shit together. I guess you have to run. I saw Seiya Suzuki, who is the DH. He had to run through the outfield to take swings in the batting cage, which is you have to run from the dugout to the outfield. They call it the walk of shame. Like if you forget something or you got to take a dump or something and go into the clubhouse, you got to run across the field. And it was like, he's got to take a dump.
It's the worst. Dude, if you have the poosh eyes and the only time you can go is during the game because you need to know that everybody else is out on the field and you'll have the locker room to yourself, you're like, okay, I guess I got to tell it's there. So what, 3,000 people or whatever that are at the game that I got to poop. That's awful. Then you can't go. You go there and then you can't go. You're just sitting there and you're like, everything knows what I'm doing right now. It's awful.
It's such a specific run too, as you go across the field. We're trying to clench your butt cheeks and run at the same time and stuff.
I mean, you gotta think of the athletic prowess of some of these guys and the way they take care of themselves. The amount of like protein that these people ingested, the amount of shakes. I mean, these guys have some things going on. So I bet they go.
The steroids and masking agents alone.
I know.
Give you the runs.
Steroids give you the runs.
But West Sacramento, it seems like there was some consternation that way. I guess we'll never find out unless we talk to Taylor McGregor what happened.
I'll check in with Miss Holly because she's from Sacramento.
Yeah,
so she knows the details, and it's been a busy week or so. We actually haven't talked about baseball. That was her Gammy's favorite team was the A's, and then her dad was a Dodgers fan. He grew up in L.A., and her grandpa and her uncle were all Giants fans. It was wild visiting them and talking baseball.
Oh wow, yeah.
Well, I mean, California's got a lot of teams, so it's
I've been there a lot. I've spent years in time there. Still haven't met an Angels fan. my whole life. I say that all the time. I was like, I know people who are fans of every team, and I'm like, I don't really know any Angels fans. Like even the ones that are, it's like, nah, I live close by in Disney, and I'd go to the games, but nah.
Which is nuts because they've had two of the greatest players of this generation for the last umpteen years.
How did that team not? I mean, just the lack of playoffs. It's insane to me.
No, it's really. It seems like it would be hard to do.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be harder to not make the playoffs than make the playoffs.
Remember when Gene Autry owned the team?
Yes, it was the best. Even they sucked that, but who cares? Actually, in the 80s, the A's were pretty good.
Well, the Angels didn't they? Well, I mean the Angels.
Sorry.
Yeah,
the Angels. I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
The Angels had that crazy playoff game in the 80s. Was it against the
Red Sox?
Yeah. Was that 86 that happened?
Yeah.
That was it. And the Red Sox ended up obviously winning that game. But they had one of the wildest extra inning games. I think it went extra innings, and like there was big home runs at the end of it. I just remember watching that.
Dave Henderson.
Dave Henderson. Yeah.
It was good. Good stuff.
Reggie Jackson.
You know what? I might watch that game. I'm gonna go on YouTube. I'll share it with you. Donnie Moore.
Yeah. Was that a game 6 or a 7?
6, I think.
Did they even play 6 back then, or was that a 5?
No.
That might have been like when they still did.
God,
5,
I'm trying.
I forget.
12-year-old me is 3 people ago.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's so weird.
So
I was trying to get did you see those hats that dropped? They're, I don't know, these goofy, they're doing all the crazy stuff with the hats just to do anything. And they have the logo 3 times across the front. And I was trying to grab it and I couldn't get it right now, but the Angels have AAA, which made me laugh. I'm like, yeah, they're definitely a AAA team. Oh, and I just felt like it would be too mean to make the A's wear that hat.
There's no teams with a K logo, is there?
No, there's not.
Thank God. What does the Royals hat look like?
Yeah, dodge that bullet. KC. All right, we'll take that.
Yeah, somebody said that. They were like, I can't wait to see the Kansas City logo. Yeah,
man,
bad one.
Yeah, well, those hats, they arrived and then and I think they were all made by AI or done as a promotion to be like, here's the ugliest hats of all time. And then they pulled them, but it all made everybody go to their website and probably buy a different hat. Like that's
by the way, I think I saw on eBay because I was looking for one of those Texas hats because I thought it was funny, and somebody had it listed for like $250. I was like, "Yep, he got one, and he's gonna fucking get the most out of it he can out of it."
Yeah.
We got Will Stradamus here in the chat saying, still one of the baseball names that should have been a Cub, ex-Angel great Chili Davis. But didn't Chili Davis get the job as our hitting coach at one point?
Yeah, he's the guy that was there that Chris Bryant hated.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, hey, what you got to do is spit on your hands before you go up there. Don't wear batting gloves like I did.
And be a goddamn man. Will you be a man?
Be a man.
Walk it off.
Yeah, exactly. First, best ability is availability. Now get your ass out there. But no, the Cubs are playing great. I mean, just to get back to the series a little bit.
Right. Let's talk about these games that were actually wonderful.
They scored a shit ton of runs in West Sacramento / Sacramento. 35 runs to be specific. And our backup catcher hit for the cycle. Now
that was amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He needed a triple. Yeah, he already had, like, just think about how many times this guy, he's the number 9 hitter. How many times he had to get up to bat. He had 2 walks in this game and hit for the cycle. Like, the number 9 guy had at least 6 at bats. That's crazy. That's just crazy. Them, just running through that order constantly. But he needed the triple, which is where all cycles die, right? Like, they almost all, like, you need the triple. Yeah. You're never going to get
the one. If you lead the game off with a triple, people are like, I don't know, he might have hit for the cycle today. But if you need the triple, everybody's like, this isn't going to fucking happen. So the most exciting outcome is.
Right. And you're a backup catcher, so you're not fast. But he had some stuff going for him. When
you was a backup to the backup in Little League, and he was fast as fuck.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
When you have a whatever they had, I think they had a 16-run lead, and you're up, and it's your last time up. There's no way he's stopping, no matter what the hit is.
Yeah.
He's not stopping until he's either out or on third, right?
It was a good situation. I'm sure. Hopefully, coach said, just go for it. I don't care if you hit a fucking single. Just go for it. See what happens.
Well, and he really did hit a double. Like, I think during the normal kind of game, he probably holds up at third because he looked like
100%.
He looked like he blew on a tire going into the pit.
He was gassed. He was gassed.
His right leg was giving out, just like dragging behind him as he like crawled his way to third. No, I'm kidding. That's not what happened. I'm exaggerating, but he
it looked like you. It looked like you going from second to third after like a full day at the.
That looks like me going home to first on a good day. It was like, oh God, my Charlie horse.
I seriously thought the cycle was gonna die with him just face planting halfway between second and third, which would have been the most funny and most terrible thing to have happened at that moment.
And you're right. You're right. Lisa's right, because I was like, this guy's going to go down, and thank God he's the backup and nobody cares that much, because he's going to have a season-ending fucking annoying injury.
Yeah, exactly, because she thought he was going to pull a hammy. It did look like he was going to. And Lisa's one of the few people that actually watched this game, because this happened at about 11:45 local time, Central. When he finally hit for the cycle, I had gone to bed. And I was like laying there listening to Miguel's feed, and I passed out. So I woke up to it. Most of Chicago fandom, because it was on a Monday, I believe, Monday night at like 11:45 p.m. So not a lot of people even saw the cycle to completion.
Will Stradamus says
he was there. Yeah, Will's been at everything so far this year.
I was still up because I had just got a care package from PCA, and I haven't fucking slept.
That's the good stuff too. Now that he's got that major league money.
Yeah, it is.
So they look great in Oakland. They put up a lot of runs, and what I like mostly about that is after that blown game on Sunday, that they were able to bounce back. And I know it's the A's. I know it's Sacramento, and it's like a little league ballpark.
It was a nice situation to go into after choking one out, to go in and be like, nah, all right.
But last year's Cubs probably go in there and lose 2-3. Maybe they win on getaway day or something like that, or they, win the middle game. last year's Cubs don't bounce back for a while, and the bullpen's taxed, and there's nobody to play, and they seem a little deeper this year. They seem that they can just more easily shake off those bad losses, which that was a bad loss. They were up big and they freaking let that one go. But the Diamondbacks are a pretty good team. The A's are not. So,
yeah.
And then let's see. Polar Knights is here saying, I just have to say this is the best show on Twitch. As a barber, I love it. This is every stage of beard growth. It's true. Like, I have your starter beard because I've trimmed it recently. I don't know. We're all kind of similar lengths, but
Lyle hasn't shaved under here. He's got the full beard, full mustache going.
Yeah, he's going werewolf.
I keep the stash, but I can't grow like a full. I grow a beard like a 16-year-old boy my whole life. My uncle said it looks like when I was born, the doctor pulled me out like this, and all those spots never grew in. I'm like, fuck you, fuck you,
fuck you, Uncle Bill.
Do you? Right on. Are you getting warm fuzzies for Craig Counsell, Danny?
I don't think Craig Counsell has anything to do with any of this shit.
You will give him credit.
Nope.
No.
Or anything? Nope. You don't think they're
no?
You don't think they're because you don't think he's settling in?
All credit to the players.
Yeah.
It's not Jed. It's not Jed.
No,
oh,
Jed Hoyer's the fucking worst GM and president in the world.
I just want to throw a little something out there.
Here's the thing, Lyle. Last year, the Cubs also jumped out to a very nice start in April. In fact, the greatest April in the history of the Cubs, according to how many wins that they had. But then they fell apart when all of a sudden they did start to have a few injuries and a few little things. And then the team was completely mismanaged through all of that.
Right.
And they didn't actually kind of get it together until people started to come back in like freaking late July and August. The team started to actually just be healthy. And, so right now I love it.
But injuries happen to all teams, and some teams just aren't deep enough. And I know that's the problem. I mean, that's a front office problem. This team should be really deep with the amount of money they have and the amount of money they make. But nonetheless, I hear you. But
Ryan Presley on opening day made it a little bit too interesting. He was part of that meltdown in Arizona as well. So when last year your main problem was blowing save after save after save, and to see Ryan Presley blow one and then come back out and put a bunch of guys on, and that's it's deja vu all over again. So you're looking at it and you're like, oh no, we still need a closer.
You have the fears. You have the fears.
Yeah, because we've got
only issue.
We've got Nate Pearson, who hasn't looked great.
He gave up a dong yesterday, but he was just putting it in there though. It was the Padres' only run, which we haven't talked about the series yet.
Tealbar, our only lefty, was I think part of that meltdown in Arizona.
Terry calls him Stressley.
Oh yeah,
Ryan Stressley. That's pretty right on.
Very much like a Joe Borowski feel. Like, remember Borowski used to just fill the bases?
Oh, every Cubs closer. I think that's on when they have the entrance interview, and then when they're looking at resumes, they're like, "I only pitch really well under immense amounts of pressure, so I'm going to walk the bases loaded, then strike out the side if that's cool with everybody." But that's not even what happened. Like Ryan Presley's like pitching to contact, so that's how you got out of those innings. But little heart attack Hector, because we're getting the Astros sloppy seconds yet once again, because Hector Neris was a freaking broken down closer. Then we picked him up. Now we get Ryan Presley. Kind of looks like the same thing is happening. So I mean, will Porter Hodge be the guy eventually? Like they said that Ryan Presley's not the guy, but so far he's been the guy. So
yeah, I like Porter Hodge, but he's also seems like if he was a hitter, we'd call him streaky.
Yeah,
he can just lose the zone every so often. He throws super hard, but
that seems to be on par with what coming out of the bullpen is, though. I think you have that. You have to have the mind of a goldfish too. You got to go out there, and if you're fucking terrible one day, you have to be able to come out the next day and forget all of that. And that can't be easy for these guys. But when I see streaky guys coming out of the bullpen, I always think, okay, they have the mentality that if they were so shitty a couple days ago, they can get out of it and have another good outing. So that doesn't always scare me until the playoffs come, and then you're like, oh, and if you have a shitty coach who doesn't know when to pull the guy out, when you can tell right away, when the entire stands, and the entirety of the fan base is like, dude, we know that he needs to come out of this game. What are you doing? Why is he still in there against their best hitter? He's gonna get fucking crushed right now. Yeah, and that's the shit that gets annoying. But
you're pitching to Suarez again.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
Well, and if you look at a bullpen guy, like let's say he has 9 outings, all 1 inning long. So, and then in one of those outings, he gives up 3 runs and loses the game. That is a 3 ERA. And you'll look at that on the baseball card. You'll be like, hey, he was pretty solid. But you'll remember that one time that he lost the game by giving up that 3-run shot to Suarez.
Right.
So it's like, they can be perfect. And you don't even notice. They're like, they're just doing their job. And then the one time you remember forever.
Well, and here's the thing. When we were playing in Arizona, they had no room to fail, and when they failed, it went badly. They lost the game. Since then, when the offense puts up 45 runs over 5 games, the bullpen can be a little streaky, and you're not going to be quite as nervous.
Well, and the entirety of the team seems better when you're putting up those kind of numbers. Like Danny's like, oh, the base running's been good. Sure, it has been, but there's not as much pressure for them to push and to make things happen. So those things look better. You're right. The bullpen, those guys are coming in a little more relaxed. They don't have they're not so tight that the games aren't tight. They know that their team can put up runs, and they're pitching a little better. So I think it all has, there's a little cause and effect there, but I agree.
Opening day was a tight game, and I will say
which one? Opening day of MLB, opening day that was in spring training, or home opener?
Home opener.
Okay, I just need to know, because there were 3 opening days for the Cubs. It feels
when Seiya Suzuki got to second base and made that and took away that force out at second, that was a huge play. And this has happened a couple times during this season so far, and it's come up huge. So like, just even those extra things, like the massive amount of hustle and like knowing off the bat like what you got to do to get to that base and taking advantage. Like, frankly, the Padres in this series have looked pretty damn sloppy. They've been a little slow, just kind of taking their time, like little hot shotty, little hot doggy, to be honest. And like and Cubs are taking advantage of that. And that's good to see that they can see that and step on the neck.
Well, and when they're scoring that many runs, like, then you don't have to worry so much about Dansby tossing the ball 20 feet over Bush's head over there. And
that was a hell of a play before he did that, though. I mean,
I know they didn't even give him an error because it was not expected to make that play. But I'm just saying, it's like things like that. Again, when you're scoring the runs like they are, like, you get leeway. Those things don't come back to bite you because you're like, well, we've got a 5-run lead. Like, we can get through this.
Well,
a couple people telling us in the chat that Hector Neris was released by the Braves. So Alexander Miller and Jeff Burr is telling us so. Let's bring Heart Attack Hector. That'll fix everything.
Right. Who's pitching well this year? Chapman for Boston.
It's not surprising.
I feel weird about it, but he's so good. He's our guy, man. He's got 1 win and 2 saves in his 3 appearances.
Well, I mean, the Cubs might be trading for his ass again if you guys falter.
Shut up. We're going to be fine.
That would be fucked up.
Josh D is asking if this is an Ivy Envy hoodie. Why, it is.
Yes, it is.
No longer available. Collector's item.
They
quit.
Danny will sell it to you for $250. Let me tell you though, coming out of that A's series, I mean, you start looking around the internets and whatnot. You hear Danny talking about the team and Michael talking about the team. Dude, we're fucking awesome. Look at all those runs we put up. But in my head, I'm like, it was the fucking A's, dude. Like, everyone's going to do this to the A's this year. Wait, stop. No, stop. Right. So that's what
he's getting to.
That's where I'm getting to. So I'm like, I don't know. So is there anything else you have to say about the A's? Because what's really impressive about what's happened in the last couple days is the Padres. Like that.
I feel bad for the A's. That's the only the thing I have to say about the A's, that the A's have to play in that shitty stadium for the next 2-3 years, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The good thing is that it makes it feel like there's actually people at the game because they don't have to sell.
It's true. And
So
I think
5,000 feels that
I
full.
think the people of Sacramento will go out and check out some baseball, and it's going to be better than their last situation. So
Yeah. It's just kind of, I mean, it's a visiting team. It's got a novelty to it, but as the home team, you're like, oh, fuck, this is a grind. But maybe I mean, they got better players. They've obviously been bad for years, so they've got some good guys coming through the system now, and probably some exciting young players. They'll be good again. And it might be a rallying situation for that team where they're like, oh, we got this terrible ballpark.
Nobody believes in us.
Nobody believes in us. Let's have some playoff games and show the world they can sit and spin,
There are a couple teams out there that are just shitty, and I mean, the White Sox. Do you think there's ever a situation? I'm talking to a wall. I know there's not before I even say. Do you think we're always talking about expansion, and all these sports? Would there ever be contraction in MLB? I mean, is it headed that way just to have a couple less teams so there's better players on all the teams? I mean, a team like the White Sox last year, like that shouldn't happen. And that's ownership's fault. And the things that happened with the A's, that's ownership's fault as well. So, maybe the league needs to get together and be like, all right, this can't happen because this
I would actually remove the teams from Florida first. That's two teams, one from each league. And Florida does not support their fucking teams, so just get rid of those teams.
Yeah, but how will all the baby boomer retirees watch the Yankees? Like
that's
the same way they always do on Neston.
The Red Sox go to Florida. That stadium sold out. Boston, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Everyone from those areas goes to Florida. There's the Arizona. Everyone in Chicago goes to Arizona. Everyone on the East Coast lives in Florida.
Exactly.
All my aunts and uncles have houses down there now.
But so Shota just absolutely dominating in that first game. Man, that was really nice. They did pull him. I'm not too upset, but I did love that the crowd booed when they brought him out of the game. It was kind of stupid that he went in for 1 out and then they pulled him, but
I guess they wanted him to get the applause, or do you think they really believe? I mean, it was a 3-1 game.
It was still a tight game.
I think it was a matchup situation. Let's just get him to get this, and then they, of course, because probably a left or a righty was up or something, so we better get him out of there and go to the right-hander so we could blow the game somehow.
And they immediately, who was that? Somebody posted in the chat, but the reliever came in and immediately put somebody on.
Yeah, let's bring in a guy to walk the leadoff guy. Let's make this interesting for the hometown crowd.
Right.
But no, they looked really good yesterday, and not a lot to say about yesterday's game except for that. I had a great time with Blake Beard, like watching the game and talking to him. Blake. We had a wonderful time, Blackbeard. It was opening day, regardless of the outcome, which was positive. They won, but it was the vibes around Wrigley were really freaking nice. You could tell people were in a good mood. You saw a lot of people I got to show this picture of me on stage before the Bleacher Bum Band went on. Freaking packed crowd. This is about 10 minutes before we went on. Even got even more populated as we went. And I got to show this picture of me. Like, look at this rock and roll O face I got. Oh yeah, baby. Look at that O face from the stage. Even Gary looks like he's about to make an O face.
It looks like you're about to blow a fart at Gary, honestly.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna crop dust that motherfucker behind me. And freaking Bleacher Jeff, sober enough to play. And that's really all you could ask for.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm not asking for miracles here, Sober enough to play. And you gotta tell him this picture. He's like, okay, focus. What key are we in? I've had 17 beers, because it was hilarious. We were in the group chat for the band, on the text, and we're texting back and forth. And Jarrett, Guy Sirius, saw Jeff at Murphy's on the news, and he's in the background chugging a beer at 9 a.m. We're like, hey, buddy, we're going on in a few. Like, he's like, that's why it's only beer. I'm like, but it's 9. By the time you fucking get to the game, you start at 9, you're going to have fucking 15 of these things, and then you're showing up.
But he was a little drunk enough when he got to the game that he hooked PCA up because he dropped his bag onto the field. Thus, everything kind of worked out.
Thank God for crack cocaine.
Yeah, he knew he wasn't going to drink for 3 hours at the game because nobody can afford $16 beers.
Oh my God. Yeah. That made by the way, we're going to do the bitch clock on the other half of our break, which we should take. But it's one of the things in there is beer prices. Cause I saw this laying on the ground. It had blown out of the stadium, went viral on Twitter after I tweeted it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of the usual suspects be like, we'll stop paying for beer. That stop. I'm like, dude, that's not the point. Why are you blaming the fans for wanting a beer? Like, if it's your prerogative, it's the same people that are mad that Bleacher Jeff got to go to Japan. It's like, well, why does he get to go to Japan? Like, because we gave him money to go. Shut up.
Because because he sacrificed every other bit of his entire life and happiness to hang out with the Cubs.
Exactly. He deserves.
I don't think you realize the mental toll it takes to be that Cubs fan out there every goddamn day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be paying these goddamn beer prices. I mean, this is before tax.
Comfortable. Jeff is going to lose years off of his life just from that bleacher seat.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine like how the scoliosis in his back from not having a freaking back on his chair.
Right.
Oh, anyway, we're going to, how about we take a break and then
wait, Michael, did you do a silhouette?
Yeah.
No, that's what we'll get. We'll do the
before,
silhouette and then we'll do the break.
All right, just making sure.
Okay, but do we want to talk real quick since might not come back to these games? Ian Happ 1000, or do we want to do that on the other side?
Hey, Ian Happ's out there for 1,000 games. Yeah.
See, okay, no, Danny, that's the exact thing that I'm like thinking. So
he made a great catch though yesterday.
He had a great game yesterday.
He hit away from the shift the other day. That was good to see. They shifted his ass. He hit away from the shift. It looked great. He hit a double after getting some chin music in yesterday's game. Like, Ian Happ is baller.
He stepped up.
Let me ask you
ovation before the first at bat, and they didn't even give him a strike.
No,
I love Ian Happ. I really do. Let me ask you this. The guys who take over this show, and then the guys who take it over from them, and then the guys who take it over. So 50 years from now, whoever's doing the Sun Ranto show, do they even know who Ian Happ is? Is he one of those like forgotten players? Is he borderline? Is he like, you know what I mean? Where does he sit? Like, who is he to you, Danny, on like
Blake said, I'll go with what
80s,
Blake
the 80s Cubs that you love so
much.
I'll
tell you what Blake said yesterday. He's like, it's a shame that Ian Happ missed that World Series by a year. And I'm like, well, he needs to win his own. And I think, and he needs to have a strong playoff run of his own and lead that team in the way and have a long playoff run, not get swept out by the Dodgers in the first round, like something that was a significant, get the city excited. At that point, I think you'll remember Ian Happ. But other than that, like, he probably, I mean, he's a Cub for life. That's good to see. Maybe he ends his career with the Cubs unless he does something like go to the Pirates at the end because he's from Pittsburgh, or, that would be understandable as well. But at the same time, right now,
Natty, because he wants to pad his home run numbers.
Exactly. And try to get a Veterans Committee Hall of Fame vote down the line or something. But no, I mean, you're certainly going to remember him as a Cub of this era, but this era has not been particularly lucrative. So he's got to do his own thing.
So that is kind of what I was thinking. It's like, so I looked it up for the Cubs pod. If you're a Patreon supporter, you may have already heard this, but he is only the third Cubs draft pick to play 1,000 games for the Cubs. Sean Dunston and Mark Grace. They're the other two, because every other player who's ever played 1,000 games for the Cubs were on the team prior to 1965, and that was the first draft. And everyone else were from other teams, trades. But Mark Grace and Sean Dunston. Now, Mark Grace, Sean Dunston. We kind of forget about Dunston quite a bit. But
I wouldn't say so, though.
Mark Grace is up there. Like, everybody remembers him.
Dunston's back, though. Dunston's back in the fold. He's coming to Wrigley.
But I'm talking like when you go to the stadium, you will see people with Grace jerseys still. I don't know the last time I saw a Dunston jersey. So Is Hap going to be Grace, or is Hap going to be?
I don't see any Hap jerseys either, by the way. Just so you know. And he's a current player, and nobody's got that jersey. And I see a lot of Tuckers yesterday, but I didn't see a single fucking Hap.
In my mind, and maybe you get this after the fact, in my mind, he's below both of those.
Kind of.
I don't think it's an either or. I think it's
certainly below
less.
Mark Grace.
Yeah.
Mark Grace was a broadcaster though as well, so he had, he's been around the game. It depends what Hap ends up doing, and how beloved he is. But
Mark Grace was a world-class drunk, and there's a lot of great stories about him too. So you remember part of that too. And he's a great player. I mean, he really was. He was the leader of that team for quite a while.
Oh, the personality.
Yeah.
The personality brought it up there too. But Hap, he has his podcast. He's got his coffee. He does things.
He's the most.
It's just funny. I was just thinking about that yesterday, and I'm like, I don't know how. Like, I don't. Hap's a good player. I like Hap, but I talked about it preseason. I'm like, why does Hap automatically get left field with no discussion? Like, I was wondering that.
Well, we saw that.
Season.
I mean, he has really come. I mean, as far as the glove goes, like that diving catch yesterday was one of the best catches I've ever seen him make.
It was very good
because he could have broken his neck going to that wall, but he knows it so intimately. He knows exactly how much space he has, and his podcast, like, even though he's kind of like a little dull as like the lead of his podcast, like that's his personality. He's very kind of straight laced. He's the least animated person and funny person on his own podcast. Like Dakota Mekas is hilarious. He's got a lot of energy and is exciting to listen to. Whereas Ian Happ, he's just kind of like, I'm like, does he even drink coffee? Because he does not sound caffeinated. I don't even believe he even drinks this stuff. Like maybe he's drinking the Parse rum, but he doesn't even seem like somebody. Maybe he sips a rub or something. Or, give me a half a shot in my daiquiri. But he's not like that guy who's going to come out of his face, which is going to be a detriment to his fame. But he has been nothing but solid out there for years and years and years, even though like for a bunch of those years, he would have those great months and bad months, great months. Remember, he was real streaky.
Yep, he was up and down month to month. And yeah, and I think you're right, Danny. I think the personality is actually the biggest reason he isn't really that Mark Grace figure. Like the numbers are like generally there. He has been solid, nothing really bad to say about him. It's just that he's just never been that superstar. Well, and it's surprising that he's got 1,000 games without being that guy.
And he's coming into this team after a team that was going to go down as one of the most loved Cubs teams ever, and he's the after effect. As everyone's watching them dismantle this team, he's what's left.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he wasn't part of the team. Yeah.
They built around him on purpose. They gave him that 4-year or 5-year contract, whatever it was. Was it longer than that? I forget, but it was 4-year. And then, but if you remember, he was getting standing ovations back in the Wilson Contreras times when we thought both of those guys were heading out at the trade deadline, and neither one of them did. Not trading Contreras. I was trying to figure this out. Not trading Contreras resulted in the draft pick that got Zaire Hope or Jackson Ferris, I think is who. And then we traded to the Dodgers for Michael Busch. So, anyway, I was trying to remember that kind of chain of events. So that's what could have been Ian Happ at some point, some sort of chain of events like that, where if they didn't resign him or if they had traded him at that deadline, you get something like that. But anyway, we should take a break.
Well, can I have the floor for a second?
Sure.
Michael, you can post the baseball card now, but ladies and gentlemen, that's Danny Rocket talking for 12 minutes about Ian Happ, which he did not want to talk about.
Hey, that's why I wanted to go to commercial, but no, you didn't let me. So,
I honestly, I felt like that was a good conversation. I think we had to 100%. Mention the 1,000 games because Ian Happ, I think, will go down as sort of not a controversial figure, but there are people who absolutely 100% love him, and then there are people who are just like, Ian who?
Yeah, and he gets hate too, like it's stupidly. I don't think he deserves any hate.
Yeah,
he's an average player.
Yeah,
he's above average. He's above average.
He's above average, but not he's just not a superstar.
He had 24 dongs last year. He'll be out there this year, probably do the same thing. Like, he actually is one of those guys that as he's aged into this contract, he's gotten better even. Like he's been a solid player, and I think he's ready to lead this team. I think if the Cubs do go far this year, he'll have a lot to do with it. He'll have to.
I saw you hit 24 dongs between the dumpsters behind the Cubby Bear one night, and it was a fucking amazing thing that I've seen. Hitting 24 home runs is not a big
Those
deal
are
anymore.
ding dongs, you ding dong. All right, now let's do that.
All right. So this, I'm going to help you out a little bit because this is going to be a tough one to figure out. This is a Topps baseball card from 2018. And I picked this one because it's one of the dumbest pictures you could take for a baseball card. And I don't know why they used it. But if you think we're going to go to break.
The silhouette even looks dumb.
We'll
I can kind of see the glove in the other hand. I didn't know what was happening. So you can kind of see the glove. All right.
I didn't fade it 100% because I'm like, this is just so hard. I'm not going to work any harder to get this.
It's weird because it looks like he's wearing one of those 80s V-necks too. So, so it must have been a throwback day. Anyhow, let us know who you think it is.
Long Fingers McGee.
Exactly. The famous Long Fingers McGee. So, all right. Well, we'll be right back. Patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch, despite what the commercial says. Sorry, I didn't make a new commercial yet. All right. But Patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch is how you join us. Go refill your coffee cup. That's what I'm going to do. And put who you think this is in the silhouette in the chat. #Chance in the chat. And we'll be right back.
The Son Ranto Show has hired me, a professional voiceover actor, to tell you why you should become a Son Ranto Patreon patron at patreon.com/sunranto. First of all, it's only $1 a month. And if you can't afford $1, I don't even know that the Son Ranto Show wants you as a listener, because you're too poor to even hang out with anyway. Also, as a Patreon member, you get the Son Ranto Show ad-free and the Patreon-only podcast called Cubs Pod, which releases daily during the season with bonus episodes all off-season long. Son Ranto Patreon members are also eligible to win a monthly prize, get exclusive Son Ranto Discord page privileges, and there are more perks at every level. Plus, 10% of your Patreon support goes to help the Lost Boys Youth Baseball Program as we give back to our community. So what are you waiting for? Spend your hard-earned money on tickets and beer for the Son Ranto Show by subscribing at patreon.com/sunranto. Otherwise, they'll think you're a poor loser. A big, fat, dorky, poverty-stricken loser. Take it from me and by commanding professional voice, and become a Son Ranto Patreon supporter right now.
If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his W. Cody Bellinger, smoking deuce. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your stro. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In The Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch.
Who's that? Cubby.
Oh, we have some guesses in here. Alexander Miller goes with Darvish. Josh D says C-Shack. Tom Cooper says Anthony Rizzo. We got one for Brandon Morrow. Salado says Dick Pole.
Are you kidding me? Dick Pole, it was nothing but he was not a pole. Let's put it that way.
And he was not in 2018. But Dominic Galoro is actually really good at these. It's Koji Uehara.
Oh, yeah. Koji says, baby.
Yeah, from the famous Koji Says segment when Danny used to read the Google Translate of his blog, which I love those.
That's back when Google Translate barely worked. You know, like it didn't. That was funnier. That now it's probably pretty dead on.
Does he still do his blog?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
I'm sure he does. But look at this picture. Topps has access to every picture they could possibly want of this guy. And this is the one that I don't even know what he's doing. Like he might be arguing with the ump. He might be like saying hi to somebody. I have no.
He looks fired up to me. I like this.
It's like a toothpick arm. It almost feels like this wasn't a real picture, and they had to like doctor it to get it in there somehow. I don't know. It's just every kid who's ever collected baseball cards has gotten this card and been like, I hate this. Like wanted to trade it for anybody else.
Yeah. KojiUehara.net is still going. Koji-Uehara.net. His last blog post was today.
Yeah,
so
I think I remember we checked up on this a couple of years ago, and he was like, he went to Yankee Stadium for some things. I think he's still coaching maybe in Japan.
He met Ryan Howard, and here I'm going to upload his last blog post that I just translated. Just give me a second. But yeah, Koji Uehara, I mean, didn't he play for the Red Sox as well?
Yep.
He did.
Yeah.
Prior to the Cubs, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So, he was around. I mean, those were, ever since 2016, I think we had a lot of hope, and it just kind of went. And Koji Uehara was part of that hope. He met Ryan Howard. Looks like in Japan. Koji's wearing a suit in the picture.
Looking good, Koji.
Yeah, he does look real good.
Ryan looks like he could play.
Ryan Howard looks a lot smaller than I remember him.
Yeah,
looking.
well,
He looks like
you
he
stop
lost
doing
weight.
just stop doing steroids after you don't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So he says Ryan Howard ! He was a great player. I don't know if I ever played against him or not, but he knew about me. And then some emoji that looks like boobs. Frankly, boobs with chest hair. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that means in Japanese, but in American, it's boobs.
He's
with chest hair.
He's the tits.
He's the tits. So I did want to mention that I got to say Larry Hawley, who now is he works for Ankin Law, but he was with WGN for years and CLTV, and he's kind of kept his work with doing sports broadcasting on his TikTok page. So he's doing this bit called Sports of a Certain Age, which he's going to continue doing. I talked to him yesterday at Murphy's after the game. And so he's been on the Sun Ranto show. If you don't know who Larry Hawley, he's a great guy, but he works for Ankin Law now in their social media department. But what he's also doing is doing these Sports of a Certain Age sort of broadcasts around Wrigley Field. So I wanted to put up a video he made yesterday about the Mom Shrine. So I'm uploading it right now because as it's uploading, I'll say yesterday I went over after the game. All these people were gathered around the Mom Shrine there on Ball Hawk Corner. It's not just Mom Shrine Corner, it's Ball Hawk Corner. So there was a whole group of people all wearing the same button with this guy's picture on it. I wish I could remember his name. Maybe it was Frank, I think. And anyway, they all had this button on, and apparently he was a guy who liked to ball hawk every now and again. And so they had a picture of him on the button, and also on it wasn't on the button, but it was on this sort of like portrait that they had brought to the rooftop. They had a big gathering on the rooftop because he died this year. And so they had all gone to Ball Hawk Corner, and they had seen the shrine, and they're like, oh, who's the shrine to this dead lady? And it's like, they're there for their dead friend as well. And it was this daughter of the man who had put it together. So I had a really nice conversation with all those people out on the corner.
Did you add his picture? Did you put it up? Did you share
did. So that's what I'm getting to. I took one of the buttons and I put it on the bunting of the Mom Shrine. So that also joins Dan Nielsen's guitar pick. And I know there's a few other mementos for other people who have passed. And people have put things down at the Mom Shrine recently. Thank you, Chad Smeets, who put some flowers, live flowers, and a plant there the other day. Very kind of you. And the thing grows because somebody put a Bud Light down there. So, my mom not really a beer drinker. If you want to put some red wine. She did enjoy that. And maybe around Christmas time.
Bailey's.
Bailey's
because she was a nun and she thought it was the blood of Christ.
Exactly.
me and Mom had a night with Bailey's.
Yeah.
We sent Danny away.
Yeah, if you like Bailey, if you like getting drunk on Bailey's, you don't like drinking, you like dessert. That's what you enjoy.
Right.
So, anyway,
it's hard to get drunk on Bailey's.
It is. Well, my mom managed to, because she was a lightweight. But let me put up this video that Larry made just on opening day of the Mom Shrine. And I won't say we'll be right back because we'll still be here.
Welcome to Cubs 2025 home opening day. It's actually the third opening day for the Cubs, who had one in Japan, one in Arizona, and now here at Wrigley Field, where the spirits are already high a couple hours before the game. Now, like every year, there are some things that never change and some things that do. And that includes one special shrine that's outside the ballpark that is dedicated to a special person that has managed to survive since the end of last year.
This is a shrine at the corner of Waveland and Kenmore outside of the left field bleachers in honor of late Chicagoan Marilyn Robbins, mother of Danny Rocket, a popular Cubs musician and fan. It was started by supporters of Danny, those friends of Maryland, late last summer after her death, continued through the 2024 season, surviving through the winter, and now to opening weekend here in April of 2025.
And with the shrine standing, happy home opening day, Cubs fans. Here's to success and good luck over the next 6 months.
Oh my God, that is the 100%. That's the announcer voice. That is
so
perfect.
Good. He's so good. That's great.
Well, he worked for years.
And very sweet. Very sweet.
Yeah, he worked for years in the business, and he just recently has kind of shifted gears. But
he has not lost a beat. I heard that voice and I was like, "Oh my God, what are we about to learn?"
He is that guy, and what's amazing, go to a game with Larry sometimes. I've gone to lots of games with Larry. He lives in the neighborhood. He's a really cool guy, and he can do impressions of so many different broadcasters because he is that kid who studied that stuff and watched it and did the impression until he could find his own voice doing it. But that is the voice like that. I mean, it was the voice. I mean, you heard him a million times on WGN, so he's a pro, So anyway, follow him, and thank you, Larry, for making that, because that just adds to the lore and get my mom's name out there. That's how you keep people's memory alive, is by keeping their memory alive and talking about him. So
I gotta say, walking out of that funeral, and Danny's just holding this picture, and he's like, what do I do with this damn thing? He said, I feel weird throwing it away, but my sisters don't want it. I don't want it. Thank God I told you to let's make a shrine out of this goddamn thing. Put it outside the stadium. We thought, what did we think? It was going to last a weekend?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe a homestand. Yeah.
Maybe a homestand. And we're like, then they're going to come clean it up and put it all away and throw everything away. And then as it's approaching the new year, I'm like, I can't believe that fucking thing is still
mild winter.
Mild winter helped, but I was kind of blown away by the whole thing all winter. I kept thinking about that day when we were talking about it, and I was like, all right, let's get some stuff. We'll do it. And then I'm walking to the stadium, and you're like, I already did it. I was like, of course you did. Look at this thing. It's amazing.
Well, and I also got to say about the Mom Shrine, it's like the conversations that I've not only had with those people yesterday, but I see people standing there looking at it, and then I'll go up there hey, and they'll ask somebody standing around like Ballhawk Dave, hey, what's going on with who is this lady? And they're like, oh, it's his mom. And then I'll go over there and talk to him, and I feel like I'm back at the wake. But I do have a question, Lyle. Now, was this, when you told me to make this shrine, was this before or after you destroyed church property by falling into the pew and destroying?
I broke the pew. I snapped it.
About $1,500 worth of damage at St. Edna's Catholic Church in Arlington Heights, Illinois.
The bruises I had on my body when I never sent you pictures. It was insane. I had my whole back of my arm was black. My ribs, my thigh. I wrecked myself. But I think the landing and hitting that pew so hard, I had an epiphany, and that was it. And Mama Robbins lives on forever in Wrigley Field.
You must make a shrine.
That was it. That was what I got from God.
People film weddings, but they never film funerals, and that's a sad thing, because I so wish we had that on film that we could just see Lyle eating shit over the pew all the time.
This was
you have video, and did you ever? Is there video of me going?
There's not video, because this happened before the ceremony, and because it happened before anybody showed up, and all of a sudden we hear bang, and we're like, "Oh my God, what happened?"
No.
Look, turn around, Lyle's on the ground, the pew's broken. But this is the aftermath picture that I do have of the guy trying, because they had to put up caution tape.
Well,
look at this,
dude. Listen, the entirety of people are standing to your left. You can't see them in the middle because it's a huge church, and everybody's talking. And all of a sudden, I hear a drill, and I turn around and I look at the guy. I was like, "Come on, man! You don't have to humiliate me in front of everybody. We know that I fell and I broke this thing, and everyone's still in the room. And there you are, putting up caution tape, using power tools to fix." And the pew is cracked. Like it's the second one. It's the middle one. He's trying to screw it back to the ground because I ripped up the terrazzo floor. It snapped. The screws came out, and all the wood's broken. I don't think he actually fixed it, because I don't think.
Oh my God!
And no. Chris Salito, he wrote, "Already told everyone I'm going to the game on the 18th that the Shrine will be a stop before the game. But when I first read it out of the corner of my eye, I thought it said the Shrine will be stopped."
That's what I thought too.
In my head, this is going to be amazing. I was imagining Chris with like a blowtorch and a propane can, be like, "Fuck you, Danny Rocket, and your mom, she's gone." Shrine, I'm sick of looking at it. But
well, then that would be the end of the Cubs season, because I've Mom Shrine right now at Wrigley this year is 2-0. So 1,000 winning percentage for Mom Shrine at Wrigley this season. And we won't talk about last year.
I'd add to the sentiment that you were saying, Danny, when we did that day. I mean, we hung out there before and after the game and did that. I actually had a lot of like really nice non-baseball conversations with people around the Shrine, not just about your mom, but, people, they're like, "Oh, my mom died a couple years ago. She loved being here." And oh, my brother passed away last year. And we come, or 10 years ago, and we come all the time and come to a game. And it's one of the times we feel close to him. And I don't know, it was nice, but it's really as a gathering place there. It's pretty cool. And it makes people stop. And then someone else stops and they're like, "Do you know who this is? Do you know how this is?" And then all of a sudden they're talking about their 401ks and running to the streets and holding pitchforks and torches. And it started a movement.
Exactly. It's like Speaker's Corner over there.
Yeah.
But I will be taking full credit if the Cubs have a good season, or I'll be giving my mother's memory full credit and the Shrine full credit, because if you recall, I've been trying to get like Cubs shrines going for quite some time. Like, it was 2019 that I was doing that show outside the Ivy on NBC Sports with Cerami and Luis, and we had a shrine there. It didn't work, so eventually though it's going to work, and I'll take credit for making a shrine. And then we'll do all sorts of news stories, and here's a local Cub fan. Like, I am certainly going to parlay this into fame and fortune for myself.
So Danny, what you're saying is the Mom Shrine is your contact play. You'll just keep running it out there, and if it ever works, you'll claim that it was always going to work.
Yep. See, 1 out of 50 times. I told you it was going to happen. So anyway, welcome back to the Son Ranto Show. And
Jesus Christ.
And I know. Well, I just want to say #chance in the chat. Also, we're thank you to Matt Cammer's Permanent Paintings and In the Clutch shirts. They're freaking awesome, both of them, and they sponsor our show. So thank you. And we're going to be doing I'm going to rename it Boomer Bill's Bitch Clock. What do you think? Like, we name it after Bill, because he's like really the head ranter of all of us.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's really the biggest bitch.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to say it, but since you did. Anyway, I think that we should rename it. So I've called it Boomer Bill's Bitch Clock. We'll see if it sticks. But it seems like that he needed an honorary title, on the Bitch Clock. Yes. But if you have any grievances, which there shouldn't be too many on a 5-game winning streak, but
I have some.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Well, tell me what they are. Because so far, and I will share, this might spark some conversation real quick. But before we get to it, I do want to mention it seems I have won the Ranter bracket.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I
wanted to get to this.
Dude, Duke getting upset Duke choking last night, not getting upset, choking last night. And that Florida win, it's unbelievable. I was looking this morning and I was like, I can't believe Danny's gonna because listen, Danny will talk about the Cubs with you all day in depth. If you want to have a casual conversation about baseball, he'll have that. But if you want to talk like stats and numbers of players that played like the 1983 team, and he'll get in there with you. You talk to Danny about any other sport, it is like talking to like a child about like their favorite superpower when they're like 3 years old. Like, it's just insane. He just doesn't know anything about any other sport. He knows nothing. And the man's never watched a college basketball game in his life. Like, sat down and watched
all credit to my nephew Marcus, who does watch this stuff. Because let me tell you,
will he be getting the winnings?
He will be getting half the winnings, because that's the deal I made with him before, and I've already said it to him because it seems like we won. But that was $135. I am taking my half of the winnings and throwing it on top of the Lost Boys donation. So thanks to everybody. So that's like $400 around that we raised for Lost Boys. So thank you, everybody. And that's going to go with our first 3 months. I pay Levante 10% of all your Patreon donations to the Son Ranto Show go to the Lost Boys. We tithe our money that you give us over there. So I'm going to throw the first 3 months of Patreon support along, and I'm going to add that $400 that we raised, with the half the winnings plus the half the money from the fundraiser. That's all going to Lost Boys. So great job, everybody. But I told Marcus, he's like, you don't have to give me any money. I'm like, you are a 16-year-old boy. You take this $135 and you bring your friends out to ice cream. You go take your
ice cream.
16-year-old, go buy a dime bag and have someone get you a couple 40 ounces. Kids don't
do that shit anymore. They literally eat ice cream.
Go sit in the woods and find some woods porn. And
you and I would have spent it on porn and cigarettes and weed at his age. I do agree with that. But this kid won't. He's, the kids don't do that stuff anymore. Well, they do, but like he doesn't. And so I'm like, just bring your friends, go to Shake Shack and, pay, with your friends. Cause that's what it costs now. $100 when we were a kid, that would last or a month or more.
Or hide that money out in the woods because things are going to hell.
Things are going to hell. Buy gold.
Buy gold. Yeah. What's an ounce of gold right now? $3,000.
Yeah, buy the dip.
Buy the dip. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
it's a Portillo stock.
I do have some questions about this a little bit. So David Elliott wrote on the Discord that, Danny, you've won. There's no way that you won't win at this point. Jeff Berta is in second place, but then he said, Eli, my son, is in third place, but Holly is actually in third place right now, and Arthur Wisniewska is in fourth. So I'm confused, and Lyle, maybe you understand this. If Florida wins, then yes, Eli will jump above Holly and Arthur.
100%.
But if Florida doesn't win, Holly will become third, right?
I think so, just because she has more total points so you get points per round. So I don't think there's a way for them to jump her because she's already gotten so many points.
Okay. See, that's what I thought.
And had she picked one of the games, if you look there on the right, I'm not looking at it right now, but if you look there on the right, I think it says total points available or whatever. You can kind of see what the outcome is. And I don't think Danny is beatable at this point. I'm not sure.
He's not, because the top four people who actually still have a chance in the championship game all have the same pick. So they would all win or they would all lose. So Danny is locked in up there at the top.
And just so you all know, I am in another pool at my job, and I am in dead last place. So
with the same bracket?
No, with because I picked it on vibes. Vibes alone, I'm like, oh, I know a guy went to that school. Right. Oh, I think they'll beat them.
Well, that's with Danny winning this. That's what I thought, because everybody knows or heard the story about like the 80-year-old lady in the work pool who still works at the office job because she likes to be around the people and she picks the teams by color and ends up winning the pool. That's what I was thinking about Danny this entire time. I'm like,
and by color, you mean that she tries to pick the whitest possible team because she's an older racist lady.
Right? It's not what I meant, but I wish it is what I
meant. So I have climbed out of the
Utah every year.
Exactly. Go. Exactly.
Go BYU. Go BYU.
Yeah, and I am 4 points behind Lyle. Lyle is number 24 in this. I am number 25. Yeah. But Lyle's done, and I have Houston. And it is possible that if Houston wins, I will then jump above Lyle.
I did a lot of work. I spent good 5 or 6 hours doing and I watched a bunch of conference games, so I felt like I went into it knowing something, and obviously
I would also like to mention
I chose mine based on how long the names were.
Right.
Well, that obviously did not work. I also would like to mention there are more people in the pools than donations I've received, so maybe just check your
Do we need to do a little accounting? Do we need Doge to come in and see what's going on?
Yeah, we're gonna need Elon Musk in here to see like which 3 people joined the pool and didn't give any money. But
it'll cost us $1,000 to get that extra like 80 that we're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just check, and if you think you donated, just make sure you did. And if you didn't, just give the money right to Lost Boys. Nobody cares. So yeah, just give them a donation. It's easy to give a donation right on their website. In fact, you should be doing that anyway. That all helps kind of them keep the lights on, all the great things they do. But let's get to the bitch clock, because really we're almost out of time. So I figure we should do, if you have anything. Okay, here's one that came in. Crane Kenny in the booth. Definitely going to add that here. Crane Kenny in booth. That was bad because, he went out there and he was bragging. Here, let me share the bitch clock wheel so we could bitch about this stuff pre-bitching. But
pre-bitch.
Yeah, we're going to have to warm up our bitching because there's a few things out here that I think we need to maybe pre-bitch about until we should each take a 30-second term. But Crane Kenny in the booth was out there bragging about how much money they were making on selling those new Expos jerseys, which Chris Zaha, if you guys know him, he's on the Ranchers page quite a bit. He was out. He texted me. He's like, "What do you think of these new uniforms?" He's like, "Giving me a real 80s Expos vibe." I'm like, "That's what everybody's saying." I agree. I do like the baby blue. I like that color. I think they did a good job with the logo. It's just, so did the Expos. So,
Yeah. What surprised me is I thought those were City Connects, right? Mm-hmm. And then people are saying they're not City Connects. And then I just realized that City Connects, they still have those to wear. This is a second alternate jersey.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering if they were going to do the Wrigleyvilles on opening day, but I think they maybe are retiring the Wrigleyvilles. They want to sell new shit. So,
that's what I thought. I thought they were going to retire the Wrigleyville, and this baby blue was taking its place. So the de facto City Connect, even if it wasn't, but apparently they have 5 uniforms they can wear now.
Yeah, it's only to sell them, and that's what Crane Kenny was on dude. Like, he does not have any shame whatsoever. He's like, yeah, we freaking sold 500,000 of these things. Can you believe it? These people are idiots. Like, that's what he went on TV to brag about. And he also said, and I wanted to bring this in because he went on the Score and said, the cup snakes are allowed in the snake pit area of the bleachers, but not anywhere else.
Whoa.
So it's.
What is the snake?
I know
it's not a thing. It's not.
No, but I hate cup snake, but now I love it because now there's a section of the bleachers called the snake pit, and if they don't paint giant snakes up the stands and make it really a thing, that's so metal.
If people don't show up as Jake the Snake Roberts,
oh my god, dude, Danny, that's how you go to the stadium all summer.
Nobody wants to see me in pants that tight.
Oh yeah, we do. There's nothing to see. You're like a Ken doll. Don't worry about it.
It reminds me of like, so they have a snake pit where you're allowed to make the beer snakes, which has always been the case. I didn't know it had a name. Now it's got the snake pit name. But isn't it kind of like, we're like, yeah, you've got freedom of speech, but just stand behind these lines behind this giant police barricade, 700 feet away from the people you're trying to yell at, and yeah, your grievances will be redressed.
Well, no, it's ridiculous. Because it's something, listen, I know you don't like it. A lot of people don't like it, but it is something that kind of naturally started happening, and that just takes all the fucking fun out of all of it.
I agree. It's got to be spontaneous, and you don't want to be like, oh, go down to the snake pit. That's like playing in balls only in a ball pit. Dude, you just got to set your own balls up in the goddamn swimming pool and just go to town.
Right. It's like you can't pee in the ball pit. You're like, what's the fun?
What's the fun? Why am I even here?
Why am I here?
Why did they even invent bleach and chlorine if I can't just pee in the ball pit?
Exactly. What's chlorine for? We've been knowing this for a long time. So here's what we got. Some of these are left over from last time.
I have another one, Danny. And I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but the lefty matchup for batting. So the Bush Turner thing, like, I don't know how you want to put that.
Handedness matchups.
Okay, that's good.
I guess that's better.
It didn't autocorrect me, so we're okay. So tough April schedule. Roster built to lose in the playoffs. I think that should stay for the time being. Payroll to revenue percentage, which is abysmal. I put in this one.
All right.
Bleacher Jeff. Oh, we did that last time?
I think so.
All right. It's off the list then. Bleacher Jeff hate, because he's still getting lots of hate. The Cubs tweeted out about him the other day. It's like, these people cannot rent free. He lives in so many people's heads. Like, get a fucking grip, people. Anyway, that's why he's in there. Ex-Astros closers. I think that stays in. Beer prices, snake pit, the Wrigley Goose, A's minor league ballpark, bullpen, which is kind of like ex-Astros closer, but not completely. Crane Kenny in the booth. I'll put in booth. And handedness matchups. Why don't we, Lyle, why don't you take the first crack on this?
And Josh D said Boog, and I think,
All right, we'll put Boog in.
And he should always be in there and never taken down.
Yeah, that's true. Boog just stays. Maybe, Boog just stays. Even if we get a Boog, we keep Boog in there so that maybe all three of us can do Boog. So, Lyle, you're going to go first. All right.
Let her rip.
All right, I got to figure out how this works again. Remember, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. we do. We're constantly reminded, unfortunately.
All right.
Pitch clock. You have 30 seconds to pitch.
Wait, what is my category?
You didn't do the category, Danny.
No, that is accidental because I don't know what I'm doing. Remember?
I was like, wait a minute. You know what? For these 30 seconds, I'm going to bitch about Danny not knowing what the fuck he's doing. He drags our asses here on Sunday morning, gets us out of bed before I even finish my fucking coffee, and I got to deal with this fucking shit every fucking Saturday and Sunday morning.
Ding, 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 ding. Actually, so close to Boog.
None of us see it.
We don't see it.
Well, it's supposed to be. You don't see that?
No.
I just see your ugly face.
Well, I'd say add to stage.
Face, Mike's beautiful face.
There's
there
just you.
Oh, now it's just Lyle.
No, we like that. That's what everybody.
You know
wants.
what? It's because I got to remove that. There we go. That's what won.
Handedness. Oh God, this is gonna be awesome. Give it to me.
Yeah,
this matchup.
And you're a lefty yourself, so.
But I bat righty, but I throw lefty.
So you're just a handedness matchup in and of yourself.
Yes.
Here we go.
Pitch clock. You have 30 seconds to pitch.
This one goes out to my guy, Mike. There is nothing better than a handedness matchup. I don't care how hot your fucking pitcher is.
I hate you.
I don't care if your guy has got a fucking shutout in the 8th inning and he's got nothing but strikeouts. He's on the way to a perfect game. If that fucking lefty comes up, I want a lefty pitcher because that's what baseball is supposed to be. It's supposed to be about matchups, and that's how you win championships, people. Michael, fuck you.
Oh, okay.
A second to spare.
You're pitching.
Hold on. No, that was a wonderful rant. I did love it. Honestly, that's not what I'm bitching about, though. I really don't mind if you're going to go to a pitcher in that situation to try and do that, except for the fact that, if the guy's rolling, you don't pull him. Right. But no, it was Michael Busch is a left-handed hitter, and they pulled him in the 5th.
No, it's a platoon. He's just going to be platooned all year. Just like get the fuck used to it, because it's not going to change. We had a big long, so you can leave it up there, Danny, because if I get it, I could talk batting because Lyle went pitching because this fucking handed this matchup thing for me is a batting thing because well,
Michael
let's see
Busch
if you get it. I'll leave it in.
Not get pulled for.
I didn't go pitching. I went Michael.
Yeah, exactly. That was bitching about you after he had a big long bitch about me. So apparently, he just doesn't like being on the show again. so
I'm tired. I didn't get enough coffee.
Boomer Bill's bitch clock is taking a spin, and it looks like we're getting into the Bleacher Jeff hate.
You know what? Danny, you take this one. Go.
All right, I'll take this one.
Yeah, because I want to hear what you have to say.
All right, sounds good. Let's share my wheel here. All right, I got to rewind it here. Here we go. Boom.
Bitch clock, you have 30 seconds to bitch.
Okay, I get it. Bleacher Jeff is an infamous Cub fan. He gets to sit in the left field bleachers. He shows up early every single day, and all you motherfuckers are mad about it. Why? Because you're jealous. Because you got to go to your job. You don't have a freaking tiny freaking studio apartment that you live in like Bleacher Jeff next to the stadium has, and you can't live that life because you don't have the fucking balls to do it. And that is why you have to bitch day after day about this man's freedom. You're not mad about Bleacher Jeff. You're mad that you can't be him. Period. End of story. You fucking haters are just jealous. You can't go to the games. Nobody fucking knows who you are. Nobody's raising $5,000 for you to go to Japan because they don't know who you are. You're a fucking loser.
They hate America. They hate freedom.
You hate America. You hate our freedom out there in the bleachers. You do. You hate people being too free because you got to go to your dumbass job. You don't have the fucking balls to go out there and do it. You don't have the fucking balls to yell at Ian Happ every day. You don't have the money to buy $15 beers, and you're jealous as fucking hell.
You don't
and he shows up every day and do it. You
bring
don't.
Your entire family to a foreign country and leave them there and come back and get a little studio next to the stadium and live the life you want to.
Exactly.
Lyle. Okay. Sidebar. We need to determine whether or not Danny gets extra points for going a minute beyond the bitch clock, or we mark points off for going that long.
He just lost today.
I lost. That's okay though. It was worth it because if anybody gets the bitch about Jeff, it's me. You know what I mean? Like I got to be in a band with this guy. Like you
got to watch him chugging beers at 9 a.m. on a gig day.
Exactly, dude. If you want to bitch about Bleacher Jeff so bad, come and fucking talk to me about him because I've got legitimate complaints. Okay, you guys got nothing. You know what I mean?
The only thing I don't like about the Bleacher Jeff situation is that shit Bambi fucking always mentions him. He doesn't. Shit Bambi does not care about Jeff.
No.
None of it. All he fucking cares about is it makes him look as if he's connected to Jeff somehow and like he's like a real fan. And so Shit Bambi keeps mentioning him, but it's totally self-serving for Shambi. So
yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like.
Shambi has
no control over that. That's just fucking Shambi sucking.
Everybody knows Shambi could have. I don't think Shambi's ever come up and introduced himself to Bleacher Jeff. We are out there on that ball hawk / mom shrine corner every game, and freaking Zaidman runs by and will not come to the other side. She's got his headphones on. He's just got blinded. I'm not Zach Zaidman. He just goes. Boog, we never see that guy. He never comes out. But you know who comes out to the fucking mom shrine and hangs out with people who was out there on opening day? Fucking Ryan Dempster. He's out there. Hey, everybody. I love you guys. He knows people by name. Like, he's the real deal. And I told him on Twitter, and he's like, you too, brother. And he's the real guy. He's
an actual Cubs fan.
He loves the Cubs. Fan. He loves the fans. He loves the
Yeah.
people, and he's not weirded out by us. Boog is weirded out by us. He didn't want to talk to us at all. Anyway, Michael, it's your turn.
Put Michael on the board. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what I'm gonna get.
Let's see if I can
Bitch
you see that?
on the bitch clock.
No, why is that not working? Oh, because I've got to. This is the problem. I got to remove that to add this. All right, here we go. Now I know what I'm doing. So,
Don't forget by next week, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's a week in between is just killing me. So,
there
what
you
do you?
go.
Oh,
There you go,
baby!
Oh,
Oh yeah! We're all lucky. We're all lucky with
my
this
God.
one. So,
Bitch clock, you have 30 seconds to bitch.
Oh my God. John Shit Bambi Shambi. I don't call him Boog because no fucking reasonable adult allows people to be called fucking Boog or Booger. You don't go by that fucking name professionally. That's ridiculous. But not only does he fucking suck, he doesn't watch the game. He talks about everything except for the game. And now he's got Taylor McGregor the other day. She's in the dugout and she says, Boog, you know that announcers can't affect the game, which is a reference to John Shambi hates fucking baseball. Whenever something comes up and it's a no-hitter and you're not supposed to say anything or there's a cycle, he's always out here fucking acting like a dick, saying no-hitter all the time. Shambi, the reason that we do this is because that's fun. We know that you're not going to fucking cause the other team to get a hit. We know that the fucking cycle would be better if he just hit 4 fucking home runs. But you know what's fucking fun? Little things that happen in baseball that don't ever happen any other fucking time. So get off your fucking high horse, quit talking to Taylor and fucking up her mind, and just leave, okay? Go, you know what? Go to a fucking radio because you actually can do the radio and you're good at it. Say the fuck off of TV, Sally, Jesse, Raphael, Bruce Valanche looking motherfucker.
Bruce Valanche. Can I tell you one thing that I heard?
Michael, you lose too.
Yeah, I know. I failed, but I was like, you know what? If Danny isn't fucking following the rules, neither am I.
Danny, what did you hear?
I heard a little story about Boog, and that's,
He heard a little story he'd like to tell.
Well,
about a man nobody likes real well.
Yes.
Yeah, and that story is that, when Boog's, before he's going on camera, that they have the monitor. You can see yourself in the monitor. Well, let's just put it this way. Boog really likes looking at himself in the monitor. Before he's coming on, he's checking himself out, making faces like, Boog is a little mirror junkie. He likes the look of the Boog. He's got a Sally Jesse glasses, and he likes the look of himself. He's a big fan of the way. I mean, I don't know how you could be a fan of if I looked like that, I certainly wouldn't want to look in the mirror. But
Valanche looking motherfucker.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Bruce Valanche.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, my friend Michael Miller just this last week met Bruce Valanche.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's the second time Bruce Valanche has come into my freaking purview this week.
I was on a flight
Bruce
with him
Valanche is alive.
The last flight I took before COVID, he was on my flight sitting in the next row over. I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, Josh D says he's the only one who likes the look of him. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. So, all right. Well, we got a visit from Cubstradamus. Lyle, you won, by the way, so congratulations. And
you're the only one. You finished with 1 second and made a point.
I thought that was the rule.
We were disqualified. He pre-bitched about me.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Cubstradamus did send in a video. Here he is.
This year is going to get stranger, and the Cubs season will be in danger. After losing today, they'll lose to LA. After losing 3 straight to the Rangers. You're doomed.
We're going to see what the Cubs are made of. Hopefully they are on a little bit of a hot streak because, I mean, the Rangers, beat the snot out of my Red Sox to start the season, and it was full fucking panic in Boston. The Dodgers are still undefeated. Have they lost?
No,
they
lost.
lost. They did lose. They did lose.
The Rangers and Dodgers are a combined 16-3 as we make the show, and that's who's coming in.
But guess what?
We're going to LA, so that's always tough.
Padres were 6-0 until they hit the buzzsaw that is the Cubs.
Yeah,
I think were they 7-0 or 6?
They were Padres were 6. Dodgers were
7. Yeah, because they had those extra games. So yeah, it's going to be tough, and I agree. We'll see what they're made of, but they look good against the Padres, who also have a very good lineup. You know, we faced two very good pitchers going to this. This is the worst pitcher today that I think we're facing. I forget who this guy is. Who are we facing today? It is. Why doesn't it come up automatically? We have yesterday was Pavetta was really good.
Rogue Wave is saying they were 7-0 and Dodgers were 8-0. But
that's what I thought. That's what I thought too. Okay. Actually, so I didn't.
Yeah, today is a guy named Hart. Kyle Hart, a lefty on the mound against Five Finger Brown. This guy, I guess, was with Boston in 2020 and now San Diego in 2025. So what the hell happened between there? I don't know, but he's number 68.
Just one away. Just one away.
You know he did that on purpose, too, just so we'd all be like,
If he had one more number, he could have turned his whole career around.
Yeah, well, 4 years in jail will do that to a man.
Correct.
So... or the minors, or wherever he was, Applebee's. So I just want a real quick announcement. Ranter Fest, I think we're looking at August 2nd. So hopefully that we can make that work. August 2nd. Seems like a good day. I'm thinking I'll get group tickets because I think that's going to be a tough game to actually accomplish. Bleachers might be tough. It's the Orioles in town. I think they'll show up. So that the Orioles fans on a weekend, I think they'll take that. A lot of Baltimore fans will come to check out Wrigley Field, and they'll show up. They did last time anyway.
And I think the Orioles were there last year or the year before. I went to an Orioles Cubs game at Wrigley. That might have been 2 years ago.
And Baltimore fans were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I want to say that little Ronnie Woo Woo update. He got moved to a better place. Thank you, Janet. Yet once again, I can't say enough about what she's been doing. She found him a better nursing home to be in. I will get all that information for soon. If you want to send him something, just ask me. You know, I'm reachable on all the socials and stuff like that. So if you want to go visit him, I mean, I think that's the main thing. You know, it's like, what can I do? What can I do? Well, I think eventually we'd like to get Rogue Wave Creative sent $100 for a tablet. We're going to work that out. Like Janet's like, don't do it yet and all this stuff. And so anyway, I'm going to give her the money. She'll figure it out. But I think we might try to raise money for like a better bed or something like that. So just look for things. We're trying to do things for Ronnie, but I think the best thing anybody could do
is get him a My Pillow. I've heard they're great.
Get him this Steve Trout pillow.
Steve Trout mitt pillow thing, so he could do this.
Yeah, but unfortunately, all that money is just going to go to bail out the January 6ers who got rearrested. So,
yeah, right.
The ones who got caught with, we won't go into it. Anyway, I think the best thing you could do is go visit him. So if you are in the area, you know, it gets lonely in there. Those days can be long. He's got nothing to do. He's bored. They got some activities, but I think he would love it if people would show up and visit him. If you're in the area, just contact us and you know, go visit him. You know, just go spend an hour with him. Go say hi, Ronnie. Bring him some lottery tickets. Bring him some flowers or a Cubs book. That's what I've been doing. Got all these Cubs books, and I'm like, hey, Ronnie could, you know, check this out, you know, while he's in there. But I think that's the right thing to do.
Maybe I will send him a Bleacher Bum Bible book.
Do it, because he is a religious man. That is true. That's the one book.
Then he won't like this book.
Yeah. He might not.
He doesn't care. He's Ronnie Woo Woo, for Christ's sake. I want to wish happy birthday today to Rachel Wazinski. You know her from the woman that got hit with a baseball in her face. Yeah. And right in the eyeball, and end up with a big black eye, in which she came on the Son Ranto show and shared her story of that clown that pushed her right into the baseball, because she would have had it. She had it. She had it. And some
interference.
She had it, and then she got it.
Yep.
Also, happy birthday to your son, Isaac Cotton.
Happy birthday, Isaac.
Riley Evans is he's going to college next year, and it's his birthday. John Jurgovan the creator of the Rally Tits Lady Christmas Carol.
Right.
He is turning an age.
Yeah.
Omar, known for his incredible plow company that also sponsors the Cubs games. He's turning a certain age. Mike Leonard of Mike Leonard Condolences jersey fame. He invented that whole shit. He's old.
Mike is old. I love that guy.
Clayton is a week from today. So happy birthday to him, a longtime ranter and Patreon supporter. So happy birthday to all you guys. I do
Shout
have
out to all the ranchers for making it around the planet or around the sun one more time.
For another season. Here we
Let's
are.
keep doing it.
We're in another season.
So I have 2 TFCs. So why don't I go first? There's the first one. And this is from the Babylon Bee had tweeted out and said, Dodgers bankrupted as Trump places 25% tariff on Japanese players. And
That's so good.
Mike Prasnowski, a longtime ranter, he's been on the show. So much for breaking even, Tom, because we got our own Japanese players. So 25% tariff.
Wow.
That's your boy
rough.
up there doing that to you.
That's rough.
Yeah. Well, I have it's a this fucking cube for sure. Just some of the worst people in the world out there sometimes. This is on Matt Mervis having a very good start to his season down in Miami. Horse Poop 1123 says, I will pee on my beanbag and then eat it if Mervis becomes a good first baseman.
That's fair. Yeah, who amongst us? So and
Imagine taking time out of your day.
I know. I feel like that it also could just be some kind of weird like AI bot, and that's just like AI bot's gone wrong. You know what I mean? You're like, God, this is the future, people. This is what you
voted for.
Yeah.
This is Elon Musk's
artificial
future.
intelligence, really heavy on the artificial part of that.
So, and the last one I got is just these clouds at the bleachers with their upside down W flag. They're flying the M. You see, one of them actually has this. He's got the hoodie version of the shirt I'm currently wearing, which is the obvious shirts Bleacher, the Bleacher official Wrigley Bleacher bum crew shirt. But I mean, these guys, they just, how many cup snakes did you make before you?
I think Ricketts put him up to this. Ricketts made 50 grand from Motorola for them doing this.
I thought it was for Mega. Oh, I guess it would have had to be a red flag.
Yeah.
So now that. So anyway, those clowns. Check your flags, people.
And you didn't put mine up again since I still don't have access to add anything to this.
Yeah, what is yours?
I just texted it to you guys.
You just read it.
I know.
I'm busy doing a show.
Well, I know, but this one's
a show that he doesn't know how to do, apparently.
Look, when Danny posted the prices of beer, you just see these stadiums. You spend so much money to get into the stadium. You spend so much time and energy to like go to a game. You travel. You got to pay for parking's fucking ridiculous. You got to get on the bus, whatever. And then you see like the Masters kind of has this like rule where they just won't rob you of the prices. And a guy posted a picture. This is what you get for $30 on.
I got it.
Yeah, this is what you get for $30 at the Masters in Food. It's like 6 sandwiches, 2 beers, and like 3 snacks. And they won't let anything be over like $4 or $5. It's like a sandwich is $2, I think. You get like
Lyle, when you sent this to me, I thought those 4 green bags were bags of weed. I was like, holy shit.
No, they do. They're
the
famous for
Masters
like their egg salad sandwich. They do a chicken sandwich. Everybody's like, the food is unbelievable and it's super fucking cheap. And I don't know why more stadiums don't do this. Like, people are there like, maybe you don't make the beers $2 because that's fucking dangerous, especially in the Midwest. But maybe you make the beers $5, $7, $10. I mean, $10 seemed crazy when that happened. And now like
$9 because then you give your beer guy $10 and tell him to keep it.
Right. Or $8. Well, that's what they started doing. They started stealing all the fucking tips from the people,
Yep, that's it. And it used to be tax included, and then they took the tax out and said that they left the prices the same. It's like, no, you didn't. You raised it 10%. with the taxes. By the way, real quick, shout out to Bernie Barron, who just forwarded me tickets to today's game. So guess who's going to the game?
Look at who's going to the game.
That's awesome.
Look at
Here,
me.
thing I wanted to say about the Augusta thing. What's going on down there in Georgia with just being cool about these stadium prices? Because I believe the Atlanta Falcons do the same thing.
They do. They learned their ways, and it's. I agree. I think it's brilliant, honestly. Because listen, even if you're like, nah, I kind of made like Danny today. He's got tickets. He's gonna go because Danny's not drinking like he used to. So, but you have a chance to go to the game. Like I often last year, my cousin wanted to bring me to the Red Sox game. I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I was like, oh, that's like another $200 in fucking beer and fucking snacks and fucking whatever. And you just start to get like, it's the tickets are expensive enough. And then you spend so much more money and all the other shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why your average day game, you bring a family. I mean, think of how much beer kids can drink. Oh my God. It's freaking drunk kids these days. So anyway, thank you, Bernie. Thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers. Please join us at patreon.com/Bleacher Bunch. Thank you to our super duper ranters, Blake Beard, Rogue Wave Creative, Mike Waller, and the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Also Baseball Rabbit Hole, all the Cubs pod people, including myself, also Sarah Sanchez, and of course, Bricks Behind the Ivy. Anyway, we got lots of stuff going on. It's all ad-free. If you join our Patreon, you can join our Discord. There's great conversations going on over there on the regs. Please just join us. It's only $1 a month, and there's no reason not to do it because $1 is basically a penny from 10 years ago at this point with inflation. So we do have hashtag chance in the chat. This is your last chance to get into the chance, and Artie keeps winning. So I don't know. Good luck, everybody else, because
we're gonna have to put a moratorium on Artie for like a month.
Yeah, seriously. All right, let me find this. Here we go. Hashtag chance in the chat. Last chance to get in the chance.
That's the bitch clock.
Oh, why is that not sharing properly? Oh, because I got to remove that and then put that.
You just learned this fucking a minute ago.
Well, I gotta. Well, it won't let me do it. All right, there we go. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom.
Here we go.
Oh my
God, it's Artie again
with a trifecta. This
Something
guy
is broke.
Wow.
He just went hat trick on 3 weeks.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's a natural.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Artie, you're getting 3 cards and you're entered to win whatever the year-end prize is going to be, which
if he wins next week,
today's game.
If he wins next week, is that a cycle?
Yeah, we'll call it a cycle. Why not? Let's go. Let's go. So, all right, that is the show. Thanks you guys for being here.
Thank you.
That's the show. Let's just say Spagog and get the hell out of here, huh?
Spagog!
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 I'm coming back to Wrigley with a ticket in my hands. No ring upon my finger because I am just a fan. And I spent most of my money on sausages and beer. But I was there when they won it that year. A pressured anticipation had the city tightly wrought with a 5-3 combination as the sailing ball was caught. Half a dozen generations who would live to see the day the Cubs would take the season all the way. Now we're coming back to Wrigley. We're coming